In this video, I will explore the reason why I claim everyone else is basically crazy, or at least disassociated with reality, and what the solution is. The soul you shun, if you will. The one you shun, the person who has a soul. Okay. So first of all, let's consider the idea of respect. This is very much a part of why people are disassociating. Okay. The white people, for example, white-skinned people, with all due respect, they can't, for the life of them, wrap their minds around the concept of if they are seen as great martial artists, it's privilege, it's ill-gotten gains. They've killed off people. They've screened out people. They screened out Martin Luther King. They screened out Malcolm X. They harassed Muhammad Ali. They harassed and segregated sports. And they've controlled breeding for a long time on record. They bred the slaves. They killed the ones who rebelled. They can't then take their craftsmen who had guns and wigs and their children and say, look, these guys are from a superior warrior line, okay? It's ill-gotten gains. That's not mind, body, soul, and spirit. That's just evil. That's just ill, right? Mentally ill-gotten gains. They're crazy. They don't want to admit it to themselves. Same thing with the gays and the females. When the females try to act like males, they don't want to admit to themselves, you can't get respect that way, okay? You can't get true respect that way. People have to disassociate in some kind of mental health constructed world, some kind of psychological construct, which is not reality. Morality and reality. Justice and morality bring true respect. Not disassociating and playing some kind of psychology, psychiatry designed game. And of course, mental health for generations has experienced and experimented with taking advantage of people's delusions. If someone saw themselves as a unicorn, for example, they would say, it's best you talk to them as if they're right about them being a unicorn so you can communicate. And they kind of started figuring out how to get people to disassociate and how to take advantage of it. And they've done a lot of experiments, the military, the Scottish Rite, and so on and so forth. They funded different propaganda-related experiments, different interrogation technique-related psychological experiments, and so on and so forth. Ivy League schools and the Stanford prison experiment, the Milgram experiment. These people were disassociating from reality, and they were very suggestible. And there's many experiments to this effect. Okay. And psychiatrists themselves in the Rosenhan experiment were exposed as not knowing what they're talking about in terms of schizophrenia, but they do know what they're talking about in terms of getting people to be suggestible and taking advantage of them to a large degree. Michael Aquino, who had a PhD in political science, said that black magic is propaganda. It is psychodrama. It is this kind of Greek theater acting and disassociating and impelling people to do things, forcing them, coercing them, suggesting what they should do while you're torturing them and coercing them and forcing them. And they says white magic does not exist. It's just fraud, and it just complements black magic. And of course he's right. Of course he's right. All right. So I'd use the example in terms of the white-skinned people, in terms of the church, in terms of martial arts, what they're doing is wrong. It's ill-gotten gains. Its foundation is evil. Its base is evil. It's wrong. It's wrong to pretend you're the most spiritual. It's wrong to pretend you're the spiritual order. It's wrong to pretend that you're the superior martial artist when you're the colonialist that raped and killed people and took females as you wish and kind of bred them into your genome. I brought up before how the ass and the hips comes from the martial arts structure. Okay, for martial art, the African martial arts structure that makes the most successful martial artists. The tits on women are part of the relatives of the martial art family, but they don't have the accompanying moral code to truly focus and live in reality and take me on. And that is why they sabotage me and they try to murk my image and try to do things to make a shallow society not feel interested in listening to me. And of course, they're suggestible, and there's peer pressure and other elements like cultural barriers that are very real. It may as well be a 500-foot thick concrete wall, the way people refuse to acknowledge universal moral truths and universal morality and focused moral intensity as the master path, as the path of justice. Okay, so I'd use the example of the kindergartner. The kindergartner was a rich brat like Harry Potter, and he says, hey, you know what? I'm the heavyweight champion of the world. And he starts coercing everybody. Can he ever get true respect? No. And why not? Because if these people don't live in reality, they're crazy. They're disassociated. Whether you've drugged them, whether you've used a psychological construct, or both, or for whatever reason, if they don't live in reality, okay, they don't truly respect you, you know? And if what you're doing isn't derived from morality and justice, they don't truly respect you. It's some kind of immature kid going, wow, that's so cool. It's not the same as a mature person saying, wow, this guy has heart, he has courage, he comes from a solid foundation. It is apparent, alpha parent, that he deserves respect. It is obvious, okay? Obi, meaning king. Obi, meaning the reproductive cycle that you are, the O that you be, Obi, right? The O that you're actually becoming, and that you are, okay? It's obvious how they vie. So when it's obvious who deserves respect and it's apparent, how can somebody who doesn't deserve respect ever get true respect? They can't. Okay, so when we look at this thing, we also must consider screening out the heroes over time. What does this mean? Does this mean, hey, by default, the black people get respect, the minorities? No, because these guys are the guys who are the survivors, the survivor effect, okay? The evil choose the stronghold of the wicked.
Good morning. I have to run, but I'll be back, okay, to get you on the trip.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
So you take care now.
All right. Yeah, I just got fumed and I get interrupted. Basically, the evil prefer the stronghold of the wicked. Okay, they basically, for whatever reason, my dad's cologne, and this is just one of many, many things, right? And it was never like this all my life. Okay, it throws me off. It causes a head change, and I do believe they found a way with events or something to kind of fume me in concert with this at the same time. Okay, notice my thought patterns are a little disturbed now. My speech patterns are disturbed. Okay, that's part of their denial, right? It's obvious that they're sabotaging this guy. It's obvious he's the top martial artist. It's obvious the top martial artist who has, in the repetition of making videos, would use that same kind of moral outrage to do his martial arts. He wouldn't allow himself to fall into this kind of shape, which just happens to look like Zuckerberg and the gay community in the location where he lives. It's obvious he wouldn't do that to himself. It's obvious they've been trying to make him gay. They sent him to reform school, boot camp, boarding school, okay? They did everything they could to try to make him come out as some gay fraternity type of person. Anyway, so again, the female trying to be a man can never truly get respect because it is injustice. She's taken it. She has some kind of lesbian privilege that's taken advantage of screening out people like me. Okay, screening out the martial art order, the African martial art orders. The Western world to this day fails to widely recognize African martial arts. Anybody who then rises from there after the most physically gifted, the most spiritually inclined, the people with the most mental, spiritual, and physical prowess in regards to martial arts, okay, are screened out and suppressed. You can't then say, here I am, and have any true respect. It's fucking simple. It's a no-brainer. Okay? Speaking of that, it's the kindergarten effect, right? He can't truly ever get respect. He's not the heavyweight champion. These people can't truly get respect. They can't truly connect to God. They're not the spiritual order. Without holiness, no man shall see the Lord. Only the Son has seen the Father. There's many scriptures to this effect. All right. So the solution is the soul you shun. My resolution, Ra, soul, you shun. Soul also means son. It means your soul. It means the one. Okay, the alpha, the one, the A, the first letter, the prime, and so on and so forth. The beginning. All right. And when we look at this thing, okay, the sun obviously isn't evil. Okay, people say, well, Lucifer is the sun. Lucifer likes to superimpose himself on the sun, like the followers of Baal superimpose himself on Heliopolis. But in the same Bible, Genesis 41:45, the priestess of On was given to Joseph as a wife, Potiphar's daughter. Okay, and that is Ra's call center. So this can be done, it can be used for divine reproduction. You know them by their works: justice, righteousness, morality, reality. Or it can be used for the white-skinned people's elite and their white-skinned people that follow suit with their cultures and benefit from white privilege. And many of them have come out and said it on YouTube and otherwise that they have white privilege. They see it too. This is not some schizophrenic black person who's lost his mind. They've made this up. There's many, many people. It's damn near conceded by the entire country, except for the maybe 10% of the country that's white extremists to that degree. You know. All right. So. All right, so we look at, this with Marduk. Marduk is a rape cult deity, period, okay? He is the golden calf. That's literally what his name is translated to. He's the golden calf. He's the calf son of the sun. He's the golden calf. He is the bull trying to superimpose himself on the martial art order, okay? Most guys, with all due respect, don't want to date a thicker woman, okay? Most females naturally don't want to date a thicker guy because he's unhealthy. Okay, the hunters would creep through the forest, they would surprise an animal, they'd kill it. If you're this big guy, boom, 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 right, all the animals run away. Okay, in a nutshell. except for perhaps the Neanderthals, and they used to hunt the woolly mammoths and those guys. It's a long story as to why that is. So there's a natural component to this reproductive thing, martial and marital, pharaoh, the reproductive cycle. The bull is not supposed to be the pharaoh, neither is the jackal. Okay, and I believe it is in Ezekiel, the false prophets of the Jews are compared to jackals. Okay, and why is that? Okay, all right, so, okay, again, Marduk. In the name Marduk, we have Mar for Mars. And when we go through Mars's statues, we see ones that look exactly like some of Marduk's drawings and depictions. Okay. Also the ram. Okay. Baphomet. 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 Okay, this kind of occult going back to Crowley and Aquino and Shrek and Anton LaVey and all these countless Satanists and this popular movement, especially here in California. And a lot of their followers have made themselves known. They've merged into the New Age, where they merged with the churches and so on and so forth. You know, these are the occultists, the hidden. Amen. Amen Ra, right? The hidden one, trying to put himself before God and go on and on. But anyway, Marduk. Marduk, Mars, and Aries. Aries is symbolized by the ram in the zodiac sign. So Mars, Marduk, Aries, okay, and Marduk and Baal and El are connected. Their families, their cults used to collaborate together and merge together, just like Baal Hadad, and Baal and Hadad were the same, and then they separated, okay. And those kind of Semitic-like people in that area, you know, they also spread it to Egypt and so on and so forth, right? It's on record. This is not something I'm making up. This is mainstream history, okay, if you bother to do your research. All right, so Marduk, and of course, there's the Wonder Woman picture where this guy looks dead on like Marduk, just like I have a picture of some Tekken fighter called Marduk, okay, who grapples, rapel, snake, choking people, kind of slithering around to get out of a hold like a snake, right? The boa constrictor constricting the air. We can go on and on about why grappling is a rape cult activity. Okay. Especially in this Western context, Greco-Roman, the Spartans were homosexual. That's where they got their kind of warrior fervor, and a lot of gay people don't want to give that up. Okay, and a strong case can be made that they shouldn't have to give that up, just as long as they do it responsibly and within the boundaries of morality and respect other people's rights to connect to God and to be who they are. Okay, you know. So anyway, so we can go on and on about this, that, and the other thing, but you know, I'm kind of confused from being fumed again. Set is the deity of the storms, which has to do with the air, which has to do with fuming people, everything that's wrong, sexual immorality, confusion, chaos. Okay, you know, he's a rape cult deity. He stole Isis. He's a kidnapped deity like Zeus, assisting the Romans with the rape of the Sabines. You know, like Poseidon, raping people, to raping females to teach them to be warriors, and that's where a lot of these lesbians come. Yeah.
The thing is, your father has a 9:30 meeting and a 12:15 meeting, so he won't be done until 1:30 or something. So he was wondering if you'd go down with him and take the car.
All right.